look, I'm not a supporter of any political party in India, let alone the BJP or of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. I'm a social scientist who's I'd like to think an objective analyst. I have no horse in this race, so to speak.
Absolutely.
It's not my fight.
I agree.
Good things, but I also see problems. I mean, I was a big fan of the farm reform laws, the 3 farm reform laws that were then later withdrawn. I think it was a real problem. They were withdrawn. I'm very much opposed to the BJP government's policy of imposing export restrictions on farm products. I think those export restrictions harm farmers in an effort to keep prices low for the urban middle class. So, I mean, every government does things that one analyst will approve of or not approve of, and that's fine. The issue for me is not policy, it's democracy. The question is, does India have a healthy democracy? And I think all the objective evidence is that, yes, it does. Now, it's a problem when people conflate their own political disapproval of a particular party or person with a failure of democracy itself. Now, as an American, I work in Australia, but I am an American. As an American, I'm no stranger to this. I mean, my own president, Joe Biden, has said on 2 different occasions that the states that are held by Republicans that do not embrace his election reform rules, that they are, quote, no better or little better than the totalitarian regimes of the 20th century. Now, none of us take that seriously because we all know that Florida and Texas are not run by Nazis and communists, right? No one takes it seriously. Because we're all familiar with the United States, not just me as an American, but you as an Indian, everyone in the world is familiar with the United States. I don't hear an outpouring of concern that an international company shouldn't invest in Florida or Texas because these are now totalitarian states. After all, the president of the United States himself said that Florida and Texas are totalitarian regimes. How could you possibly invest in such a place? Well, we all know not to take it seriously. The problem is we're much less familiar with India. And so when we hear a very credible Indian intellectual who may be a professor at Harvard, or we hear an anthropologist who's a professor at Stanford, or we hear a leading Indian author saying that India no longer has any democracy, Narendra Modi is a fascist, he's a dictator. When we hear these epithets, well, most Westerners don't have any basis on which to evaluate them. We don't know whether to take them seriously or take them, as the print said, as the print put it in my own article in the print, take it with a grain of salt, that it's not to be taken seriously. And that's a real problem. That's a real problem for India, that because of our ignorance of India, we take these accusations seriously when we hear Trump is a fascist, Scott Morrison in Australia is a fascist, we ignore it, because we know it's not true. We know it's just political hyperbole. We don't know that for India, and that's the problem.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net.